Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about my 330 Ci track build that I've been working on for the last couple years. I had somebody ask a question in one of my comment sections a couple videos ago asking me to show and talk about my exhaust a little bit more, and today I'm going to be doing that. If you have any questions or video ideas, feel free to leave them in the comment sections below. Always looking for more video ideas and content that you guys want to see. So don't be shy or bashful about video ideas or things that you want to see. Absolutely, I'll show. For example, this one, we're going to go over my exhaust, talk about my setup, and I'm also going to talk about some future plans with the exhaust and what I'm going to be changing about it. I mentioned in a video a while back talking about how loud my exhaust was that I actually want to change my exhaust and make it a little less intense. In that video I showed that the car bouncing off the rev limiter hits like 125 decibels. And that's really loud, and it's not as fun to drive on the street. I know it's not really, being designed for the street, but I still like to take it around, and I don't think that most tracks would let you have an exhaust like that. I think there's a lot of noise requirements and stuff like that. Even for like autocross, I was told that this is kind of loud because autocross tries not to make the neighbors upset if they're in a parking lot, like a school parking lot or somewhere relatively close to anything residential. They don't want the cars to make the neighbors mad because then they could complain and then we wouldn't be able to use that location next year or even cancel that location for the rest of that season. So first, let's go over my full exhaust setup. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then I want to talk about some of the things that I'm going to change about it and some of my future plans that have to do with the underside of my car. All right, so we are here underneath the car, and we'll start with the headers that I put on. Now, these are eBay headers. You can get these for around $120, and the best place to see those are right here. Now, I do have a video putting these ones on. They're not that difficult, just a lot of time, and probably about 8 hours. If you've never done an exhaust header system before, you might want to get a buddy to help you out, especially on this car where there's some bolts that are just kind of hard to get your hands down in there, or the wrenches. After the header system, we go to our stock exhaust, which starts right here. And you can see I've kind of had to modify where those sit, but I do have all my O2 sensors in there. And then here is the stock exhaust, which then goes over here to I believe this is a resonator. I don't know why there's two of these underneath here, but I believe both of these underneath here are resonators, and I'm not running a muffler. So I've got catless headers and then two resonators, maybe one muffler. Again, I'm not very familiar with exhaust systems, but I got two of these guys. So we'll go further down here. Got one more resonator here. And then just past that, just past the diff, it goes to where it's been modified again. So this wasn't actually done by me. This was done by an exhaust shop here in Idaho Falls. And what's really weird about this is both of the exhaust shops that I've gone to here locally would give me trouble about my exhaust. I cut the muffler off when I first got this car a while back because I just wanted a little bit more sound, and I wasn't really modifying it. I knew eventually that I wanted to do a muffler delete, and for me, it was free to just cut it right before the muffler and have it dump just past the differential here. And so it was just interesting that when I went to go get these done, so I told him I want one out this side, and then I want one to come out the other side, which seems pretty straightforward. And I already had the exhaust tips. I bought those exhaust tips off of eBay for I think it was like $30 or $40 a piece. So I already had those, but he just gave me this huge thing about, oh, you don't have a muffler. And I know that, I cut the muffler off. I didn't want a muffler. And it's he's giving me advice or something like that. So if these exhaust shops are kind of giving you crap, just go to the next one. Both the ones that I have here locally have been giving me issues before. Oh, well, you don't have a muffler. Well, you need, and I don't know if it's illegal for them, but since I removed the muffler, I just wanted them to pipe it out. This gives me my M look from the back. Now, this is very loud because there's no muffler and there's no cats. So I think what I'm probably gonna be doing is I might just redo the whole exhaust system starting from the headers back, putting either one or two larger mufflers. Maybe here where these have been sitting, I might do a muffler here and a muffler there that will bring my sound down. And out the back, I don't know if I'll have exhaust tips going out the back of the car anymore. I'm looking at doing a diffuser and the diffuser style that I'm looking at is going to be quite large. And oftentimes these track focused cars will have the exhaust do like this 45-degree dump right through the middle of the diffuser somewhere underneath the car, which also helps dissipate sound because it just shoots it straight into the pavement. And so I've looked at doing that. Obviously that's not as cool looking, but you know, when you're looking for performance versus looks, you kind of have to give up, you know, giving up my exhaust tips out the back of the car won't really be a big thing. So while we're still under the car, I actually want to talk about what's going to happen here to the differential. So this differential is an open diff, and that's not good for track at all. So I'm going to look into a limited slip diff. I looked into welding it, but that's not really as track focused. That would be more for like if you're doing like a drift car. So I want to actually look into doing a real limited slip diff. And then I'm going to be doing bushings. There's a bushing here and there's two up front right here. And obviously every bushing that's back here is really old. They're 20 years old almost, and they've got close to 200,000 miles, 180,000 miles on them, and it's time for them to go. And then I'm also looking at doing some frame reinforcement ones here, because oftentimes this will crack in the back. And then if you look straight up, there's no wheel well. So I've had to cut the wheel well out, and I just riveted this plate in there for right now, and eventually I'll get that welded in, mostly because it drags in dust, and I'm not sure how that changes the structural integrity back here, but you would have to remove that. Even if I didn't do the exhaust the way that I have it set up now, I would want to remove that for the diffuser. So the only thing that I'm worried about with the diffuser is this battery box right here. So that hangs down pretty far, and to get that cut out and relocate the battery, that's a lot bigger project than what I was thinking I wanted to do. Because preferably, if I wanted to do a diffuser like I was thinking, I would cut along here, and I would just cut this section out all the way along. So basically this black piece would be cut out. You remove the exhaust would be gone and relocated, and would be dumping out somewhere else. And the diffuser would come out the back, about level with the spoiler or a little bit more, and you'd have your fins. But when you do that on this side, you got your battery box in the way. So I've just got to decide what I want to do for my diffuser and how far back underneath the car I want to go. Preferably you would have a flat bottom car where the entire bottom of the car is completely flat, and then out the back where a diffuser sits, it curves up. So that's my plans with this. I'm sure I missed something. So if there was something else that I didn't talk about or that you want to see, let me know in the comment section below. But that is my exhaust setup as it sits right now. Those are some of my future plans for the car. I would not recommend doing headers without cats and a muffler delete. Do one or the other. Obviously doing the headers is going to give you a little bit more horsepower, especially if you tune for it. If you remove the muffler, you do remove quite a bit of weight, but it's not really the performance equivalency to doing headers, especially if you're doing a tune with it. So I appreciate everybody for watching. This was the tour of my exhaust. Again, if you guys want to see anything else, if you have any other questions, I have no problem showing this kind of stuff online. I know that oftentimes a lot of my projects go without a lot of detail because we're trying to make a video entertaining, and so we fast forward past the things that a lot of people would have questions about. When you have a project that you spend 7 or 8 hours working on, and I produce a video that's 10 minutes, or maybe a two-parter that's two 10-minute videos, a lot of that stuff gets lost. Some of the things that people are curious to see. So don't worry about asking any questions. If you have anything, I'll do my best to answer in the comments, and if not, I can always make a video. So like the video if you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.